Hello, everyone. My name is Hobie W. I am the coach of your Cincinnati Bagons. Today, I'm going to be going over my draft for the KPL Appetizer League. I haven't done draft in about a year. My most recent draft probably ended around May, June of last year. So this is my first time in a while drafting. During this time, I really wanted to build around a new mon that I hadn't used before. And I wanted to focus on doing something a bit different while maintaining a lot of easing myself back into it, but not using the exact same mons that I use every time. As you saw a bit for I had the second draft pick, and the mon that I decided to grab first was Urshifu Single Strike. Urshifu is kind of crazy. It's got, as you can see, it's got pretty decent stats across the board. A nice 130 attack, decent 97 speed, and pretty good physical bulk with 100 in each. But the thing that really makes it broken is Wicked Blow. It's an 80 base power move that always crits and stab, so Urshifu is an incredible breaker. No exaggeration. It's 18 points. One of the best mons in the format, simply because of how strong it is. Not really much variation that can be done. It can be, usually it's run with a choice band, occasionally a choice scarf. I suppose a physically defensive set is possible, but it really leans just towards hitting stuff really hard. The next one is Mega Venusaur. Now, this is where I mentioned I wanted to keep things a bit familiar. Mega Venusaur is my favorite mon in draft. I love how versatile it is, how its stats can lead it towards being bulky, as everyone thinks. But it's also got a nice 100 attack stat, the same as Urshifu, which is same as Urshifu. No, the same as stuff like Mew and other things. And other decent mons, and it's got 122 special attack stat. So it's pretty strong as well, although, its bread and butter is obviously the synthesis, the leech seeds, the toxics, the more annoying Stally aspect. But it's a very nice defensive backbone that complements Urshifu very well. My next mon is Kamala. Again, the mon I use every single draft. It's my mascot at this point, even though it's not actually the mascot of my team. Not much I can say about it. It's just, it's Kamala. Throw an AV on, give it rapid spin, which got a nice buff. U-turn. It's got a lot of coverage moves. Knock off, rock slide, play rough, wood hammer. It can hit most that it needs to. And be decently bulky while doing it on the special side. My fourth round draft pick was focused mainly around supporting Urshifu, so I grabbed Araquanid for webs. Araquanid's a really good partner to Urshifu because not only does it get webs, which help with Urshifu's decent but not great 97 base speed, and it's got 137 special defense, so very strong special defense. It can take lots of hits on Urshifu's weaker side. Aside from that, I really chose to grab this, I should say, instead of other web setters, because I wanted a bulky water to complement Mega Venusaur, and Araquanid fills that. Rabombi and Galvantula are a lot more offensive, but I wanted my web setter to be a bit bulkier, and with heavy-duty boots this generation, Araquanid's longevity is greater than ever. My next pick is Rotom Wash. Now, this may seem a bit weird considering I just grabbed a bulky water the round before, but these two fill pretty different roles. Rotom can be especially defensive wall, but aside from that, They are entirely different. Araquanid, it's probably going to run webs, a physical attack set. If it's going to be offensive, it's going to run stuff like Water Bubble Liquidation. It's going to run Lunge, Leech Life. But Rotom, a lot more special, a lot more tricksy. You can see it's got, Volt Switch and Will-O-Wisp, Defog, which is nice. Gives me some removal that isn't Kamala. Rotom Moss is just it's a good bulky water. Only one weakness in ground means that right now I'm really not weak to any ground types. I've got 3 resists or 4 resists. No, 3 resists. It's just a solid mon altogether. My next pick, this is why I said 4 resists, is because I have Togekiss was my next pick. And, everyone knows what Togekiss does. Give it a Choice Scarf and give it Air Slash, and then, RNGG. Aside from that, I wanted, the reason why I picked this is because I wanted a fairy. I wanted it to be a bit bulkier. This is giving me good hazard support. Togekiss is my cleric, so, Kamala's got Wish, but Togekiss is generally going to want to run it more. It's got Heal Bell. It's got Thunder Wave if I want to run Paraflinch. It's all in all, Togekiss is just it's a solid mon. No real weaknesses. And one real big niche in flinching everything to death. My next pick is Steelix. It may seem a bit weird to take Steelix, 7th in the draft. It's kind of early to grab such a low point mon. But Steelix really fits with my team very well. Up until this point, my only physically bulky mon is Megavinu. And so I wanted to grab something else that would help complement that. And I also wanted to grab a rocker, because at this point I had no hazards aside from sticky webs. So Steelix is here to be able to do that. Massive 200 defense stat. So it's not, it'll take any physical hit, probably twice, even if it's super effective. In this generation, it got Dragon Dance, which means even though speed boost doesn't really matter, it now has an offensive boosting stat. So if you combine that with something like Sheer Force, or it's just natural weight in Heavy Slam, and Earthquake is always strong. So Steelix is a pretty decent mon for how budget it is. Gives me a nice steal, which gives me 2/3 of Fairy Dragon Steel so far. Yeah, just a strong mon. Next pick was Latias. Now, I've never used Latias before, and quite honestly, this is the pick I'm probably the second most unsure about. I've heard good things about it, obviously. Latias is a 110 special attack, 110 attack, nice 130 defense, so it can be especially defensive mon. And it's got, all the coverage it needs. It's got, obviously dual stabs. It's got Thunderbolt. It's got Energy Ball. Pretty sure it gets Ice Beam. Pretty strong. Soul Dew is nice. Gives a nice boost to stabs, which hit most things. Gets Mystical Fire now this generation for those steals, which is very helpful. This also vitally gives me something above 100 base speed, which so far I've been missing, and really helps out my speed tiers, so I don't need to bring webs every single game. My next mon is Talonflame. Talonflame's the mon I'm most unsure about. Originally I wanted to grab Cinderace, however Cinderace got taken the pick between Latias and Steelix, I'm pretty sure, so I wanted Talonflame because I needed a fire type, complete complete the Fire, Water, Grass core. And its speed is nice. 126 speed means it outspeeds the base 110s with a boosting nature, I believe. I'm excited to see how it can work, but its stats overall are just pretty aside from speed. Although speed does mean it can often run a plus attack nature against the slower team. So who knows? I don't have high expectations, but I can definitely see it surprising me. My next mon is Palisand. This is my next rocker. At this point, I only had one rocker in Steelix, and I wanted another one. I also wanted a spin blocker so that I could get, something for webs. Yeah, that's the main reason I wanted Palisand. Ground type aside from Steelix, so that I can have another Volt Switch switch in, electric immunity, in case, just in case. Palisand, among the ground ghosts, in my opinion, it's the best. Golurk is alright, Runerigus is okay, but Palisand's the only one with reliable recovery and shore up, which is, in my opinion, the best recovery move in the game. Yeah, special attacker is nice because so far my team is somewhat physical. It's got Urshifu as a strong physical attacker. Venu can go either way, but usually it's bulky. Kamala is definitely physical. I guess Rotom and Ladia. My team is actually pretty special so far. Anyways, the next mon I grabbed was Smeargle. Smeargle's weird. Originally, what I wanted to do here was grab Rosalia, because at this point I had picked out my final mon, but I was sure no one was going to snipe it, so I wanted to just grab this, and this gives me spikes. It gives me, I guess, another webs option. I don't know, Smeargle's just kind of here to fill out points and throw out chaos. I get Spore, so, Smeargle is a pain to prep for, and I will definitely bring it if the game suits it. Against slower teams, Smeargle is just going to Spore you, and it's going to Parting Shot out of there, and it's just going to be the biggest pain. So, I'm not sure of Smeargle, but I'm certainly looking forward to the one or two games where I will bring it, where it's undoubtedly going to cause a lot of chaos and be great. My last mon is Archeops. You're probably wondering why Archeops, a notoriously bad mon, with the second worst ability in the game. Its stats. It's got 110 speed, which is really nice at this point. My team is looking slow, only 2 mons above 100 base speed and none at 100. And it's got 140 attack, so really strong physical attacker. Very underrated 112 special attack. So I can run mixed sets decently well, and I can run a negative nature in one of the defenses, because at less than 50% it's going to be useless anyway, or it's going to be much worse. So I don't need to worry about that nearly as much. Again, this is another mon where heavy-duty boots are a great addition, because now it doesn't need to take 25% every time it switches in. And I'm actually really looking forward to using it. I love fossil mons, and I think Archeops can do some chaos. It's probably not going to be the star of my team, but I'd be shocked if it's useless through this entire season. Yeah. Here's my final team. Really looking forward to using it. Got a couple of reliable favorites in Kamala and in Mega Venu. A couple of new mons I'm excited for in Archeops and Latias. And a couple of mons that I'm looking forward to seeing what they'll do in Talonflame and Smeargle. Yeah. As of the recording of this, I've already finished my week 1 game. So that should be coming up pretty soon after this. Yeah. All right. OBW out.